My love-struck younger sister, Daisy Jiang, was determined to follow her delinquent boyfriend to a specialized college. I tried my best to dissuade her, but she turned around and told the thug that I looked down on him. Enraged, the thug grabbed a knife and killed me on the spot. My parents, refusing to sign a reconciliation agreement, were also murdered by my very own sister. When I opened my eyes, I found myself alive again, back to the moment my sister was about to fill out her college applications. She asked me which university she should choose. My parents exchanged fearful glances and said, "You're an adult now. No one has the right to force your decision. Choose any school you want. We absolutely won't stop you." My parents, had they been reborn too? I finally managed to make my sister change her mind. Daisy Jiang was an outstanding student, scoring over 600 points on her college entrance exam, but she was blindly in love. She was set on enrolling in a remote specialized college just to be with her boyfriend, Ethan Wang, who was at the bottom of his class. Though Daisy had been stubborn and disobedient since childhood, for her future, I pleaded with her for 3 whole days. Finally, Daisy changed her mind. Overjoyed, I ran downstairs to the post office to collect her acceptance letter. To my horror, as soon as I stepped into the garden downstairs, a blond man lunged at me with a knife. Seeing me, he was furious. Before I could even react, the 40-centimeter blade plunged straight into my stomach. I hadn't even cried out in pain when the second stab came. "Let's see if you still dare to despise me, dare to separate me and Daisy, dare to humiliate me." I collapsed into a pool of blood. The blond man was quickly apprehended by the police, but I died right there in the empty lot near my home. Daisy Jiang stood beside my corpse, her face impassive. That blond man was none other than Daisy's boyfriend, Ethan Wang. After the college entrance exam, while filling out applications, Daisy suddenly told me she wanted to give up a prestigious university for a specialized college in a remote area, simply because she didn't want to leave the boyfriend she loved. Naturally, I vehemently objected. But as I tried my best to persuade her, she turned and told Ethan Wang that I had deliberately changed her preferences, preventing her from being with him, and that the main reason was my contempt for his poor family, his lack of future, and the fact that he had to care for his elderly, frail grandparents. Ethan Wang was, as expected, provoked into a furious rage. My life ended then and there. After my death, this seemingly gentle younger sister threatened my parents, "If you don't sign the reconciliation agreement, I'll jump from the building immediately. Sister is already dead. Do you want to lose another child? Ethan is just a child. Why won't you give him a chance?" My parents couldn't accept Daisy Jiang's irrationality and insisted on Ethan Wang paying for his crime. Seeing that crying was useless, Daisy Jiang turned malicious. She secretly put sleeping pills into my parents' food. When my parents drove to the courthouse, they got into an accident because the medication took effect. Both of them died. In front of their memorial, Daisy Jiang laughed loudly. "Since childhood, I could never surpass Mia. Now she'll never surpass me again. Everyone should be happy for me." I wanted to rush forward and question her, but it was all useless. My body passed right through her. I sank into darkness. When I opened my eyes again, I saw Daisy Jiang standing with her back to me, seething. In front of us were scattered college application forms, so I had truly been reborn. I was overjoyed. Daisy Jiang pouted angrily and said, "Sister, you completely don't understand love. Ethan and I truly love each other. Why can't we go to the same school?" I snapped back to reality. The familiar conversation was repeating. This time, I chose a different approach. "Daisy," I said with a smile, "you're right, I was wrong. I support you applying to the specialized college." Daisy Jiang stared at me, astonished. "What did you say?" I continued to smile. "I said you two are perfect for each other. He's good to you and protective of you. If you two go to school together, I'll be completely at ease." Daisy Jiang frowned. "But you just said, I scored over 600 points. Wouldn't going to a specialized college be a waste?" I waved my hand, feigning enthusiasm. "That's just my narrow-minded view. Gold shines wherever it is. You're so excellent, you'll succeed brilliantly no matter where you go. I support you going to a specialized college." Daisy Jiang was confused. "But you went at Peking University, and you're telling me to go to a specialized college. What exactly are you trying to do?" I put my arm around her shoulder and said with a laugh, "My dear sister, true lovers like this are rare in the world. I'm even envious that you found such a good person." To my surprise, Daisy Jiang suddenly blurted out, "You went at Peking University, and you're forcing me to go to a specialized college? What are your intentions?" I feigned surprise and looked at her. "Sister, I just want you to be happy. Education isn't the only path. People always say, better to be a loving couple than an immortal fairy. If you can entrust your life to him, I'll be at peace. I pushed the application form towards Daisy Jiang. Daisy Jiang smiled strangely, opened the door, and yelled into the living room, "Mom and Dad, sister is forcing me to give up a key university for a specialized college." My sister sat down next to my parents and began to cry. She pursed her lips, full of grievance. "Mom and Dad, I tried my best during the 3 years of hard work to achieve this score. Sister is jealous of my good performance and is advising me to go to a specialized college that only requires over 200 points." As she spoke, Daisy Jiang shot me a triumphant glance. I had to remain calm. My mother frowned and asked, "Why is that?" I quickly interjected before Daisy Jiang could speak. Daisy's boyfriend only scored just over 300 points. She wants to go to the same school as him, so I agreed to let her apply. Daisy Jiang was indignant and exclaimed, "I'm your sister. Don't you think about my future? Do you want nothing more than for me to be untalented and useless so you can be superior and excellent, huh?" My father's eyes glinted with a touch of sternness. "So, which university are you planning to apply to?" my mother asked softly. To her surprise, my parents had turned the question back to her. Daisy Jiang stammered, unable to speak for a long time. My father lost patience and lectured her. "You're an adult now. No one is forcing you to do anything. Apply to whichever university you want. We absolutely won't stop you." Daisy Jiang and I both froze. My parents are acting so strangely today. Normal parents, hearing their child say something like this, would first try to stop them, fearing they're going down the wrong path. Especially since my parents have always cared more about Daisy Jiang than me since childhood. Yet now, they're letting her do whatever she wants. Seeing Daisy Jiang still hesitating, my father raised his voice. "Have you made up your mind?" Daisy Jiang timidly said. "Then, I'll still apply to a key university." My heart tightened. So Daisy Jiang wasn't ignorant of the value of a university degree after all. She understood it perfectly. She just wanted to maintain an innocent facade while having an excuse online to blame me for ruining her love, shifting all the anger onto me. That night, I secretly went into my parents' room. "Mom, Dad, you two were so strange today. Usually you spoil Daisy Jiang so much, right?" My father sadly took a puff of his cigarette. My mother wiped away tears and gently said, "You might not believe us, but your father and I have been reborn, and so have you and Daisy." I was astonished and overjoyed. "Mom, Dad, you've been reborn too?" My parents looked at each other, equally surprised. The three of us hugged and cried. Heaven had given us a second chance. We absolutely had to cherish it. My parents suggested moving immediately. They were scared and wanted to protect my safety, but I knew that escaping temporarily wouldn't last forever. I declined my parents' suggestion. I also wanted Daisy Jiang to bear the consequences herself. Finally, my parents agreed to my plan. I decided to start with Ethan Wang. Ethan Wang had poor academic performance and a very difficult family background. His parents died early, and he was raised by his grandparents. Ethan loved his grandparents very much. In the previous life, Daisy Jiang constantly badmouthed me to Ethan, telling him that I looked down on his grandparents, making Ethan hate me to the core. Ethan's grandparents sold vegetables. That day, I deliberately lingered at their vegetable stall. Seeing that they weren't selling much, I bought all their remaining vegetables. Ethan's grandparents were incredibly grateful. I just smiled, waved my hand, and said, "You too work so hard. Let me drive you home, okay?" They instinctively refused, but I insisted on driving them home. Ethan Wang's house was very dilapidated, with hardly any belongings. Seeing a stranger bringing his grandparents home, he was immediately suspicious. His grandfather laughed joyfully and introduced me as a good person, praising me endlessly. Seeing Ethan's filial devotion, I felt he wasn't a lost cause. I deliberately struck up a conversation. "Ethan, I think instead of staying home, you could get a summer job. You could earn money to help your family." Ethan said disappointedly, "No one will hire me." I seized the opportunity to encourage him. "Why not? Heaven creates us for a purpose. I think you're hardworking and reliable." I had heard Daisy Jiang talk about him. Because he was orphaned, Ethan Wang had endured a lot of bullying. To protect himself, he had to act tough and unapproachable, and over time, his personality was affected. This was exactly the point Daisy Jiang had exploited. Ethan sat up straight and asked, "Really?" I smiled. "At least in your grandparents' eyes, and in my eyes, you're a good kid." "Don't you want to help your grandparents?" Ethan wavered. I told him I knew a friend who owned a restaurant and could help him find a job. He and his grandparents thanked me profusely, even giving me a lot of vegetables when I left. When I got home, Daisy Jiang glanced at me sarcastically. Well, look who's back, the overachiever. I didn't answer her. She changed her tone, whining, Sister, are you mad at me? I looked at her coldly. Daisy Jiang threw a tantrum. You're too petty, sister. Don't you always look down on me? It's true you're so smart you got into Peking University. I'm inferior to you. You must be gloating, right? What twisted logic. I really couldn't take it anymore. I just wanted to take an axe and chop her head open to see what she was thinking, with her endless, unrealistic fantasies. Yes, I got into Peking University. Why didn't you? Don't you like it? I provoked Daisy Jiang, who couldn't hold back. Just because you have good grades, you think you're God's gift to the world, Mia Jiang. Is this your attitude? I sneered. It's still better than being a fake White Lotus like you, I said with contempt. Daisy Jiang was so angry her face turned crimson. Unable to argue, she whirled into her room and slammed the door shut in a fit of rage. I heard her loudly making a phone call in her room. I went out to the hamburger restaurant where I had recommended a job for Ethan Wang. Ethan seemed unhappy to see me. He started complaining, Sister, why isn't everyone as understanding as you? I asked. What's wrong? Ethan said angrily. My girlfriend's sister is a complete disaster. My girlfriend wants to go to the same school as me, but her sister threatened her with death. Not to mention, she secretly changed my girlfriend's college applications. Every day my girlfriend is bullied by her at home. Just recently she even hit my girlfriend. Oh my God, I was so angry I wanted to spit blood. I've never hit her. Daisy Jiang's ability to fabricate stories is truly astounding. I suppressed my anger and comforted Ethan. Is that true? How can someone be so unreasonable? Ethan said unhappily, the girl I love is being bullied and forced to be away from me. I feel really upset. I feigned empathy. I understand. I also have a younger sister. I love her so much. How could I ever bully her? Speaking of which, my sister also has a boyfriend. She also wants to go to a specialized college with her boyfriend. I completely support it. It seems like you and she might be going to the same school. Ethan nodded and casually asked, You really are a good sister. What a coincidence. What's your sister's name? Maybe I know her. I looked directly into his eyes and said, My sister's name is Daisy Jiang. Ethan was stunned and exclaimed, You're Daisy's sister. I nodded slightly. Yes, do you know my sister? Ethan gave an awkward laugh. I am Daisy Jiang's boyfriend. I gasped and took 2 steps back. You're Daisy's boyfriend. Have you filled out your application yet? Don't miss the deadline. Ethan shrugged indifferently. Why are you asking that, sister? Daisy told me you forced her to change her applications because you looked down on me and my family. I froze, covering my mouth with my hand. She really said that? Oh my God, how could I do such a thing? Ethan nodded. I also thought you weren't that kind of person, but Daisy often complained about you, saying that since childhood you always suppressed her and wanted to harm her. At first, I even intended to confront you about it. After speaking, Ethan bowed his head in embarrassment. To prove my innocence, I played the audio recording from the other day for Ethan. I will apply to a key university. Daisy Jiang's firm and clear voice rang out. Ethan Wang's expression changed instantly. I sighed and patted his shoulder. Don't be angry. My sister can be a bit stubborn sometimes. Let me apologize to you on her behalf. Ethan awkwardly asked. Daisy slandered you like that. Aren't you angry, sister? I smiled gently. It's fine. Who told me I'm her sister? I'll forgive her no matter what she does to me. Ethan seemed moved and quickly apologized. I'm sorry, sister. I misunderstood. I cut him off, not letting him say more. Daisy has been accepted into a key university. She's proudly showing off to me about it. That evening, Daisy Jiang began her act. She didn't eat her dinner, occasionally sighed, and her eyes were red, trying to look pitiful. Finally, with tears welling up, she said, Mom, Dad, does sister dislike me? I feel like she always hates me. Her voice choked, making the atmosphere at the dinner table tense. My father coldly replied, You just need to respect yourself. Daisy Jiang was humiliated. She hadn't expected her father, who had always doted on her, not to comfort her. She turned to me, looking even more wronged. Mom, Dad, did sister say something to you too? Why do you hate me? Sister, did you badmouth me? Don't you dare sow discord in our family. After saying that, she reprimanded me. Sister, if you spoke less, you might be less hateful. I looked at her, amused, but didn't answer. Daisy Jiang looked even more aggrieved. Sister, why do you treat me like this? I'm your daughter too. My father couldn't take it anymore. He slammed his hand on the table and roared, Enough, so much drama just to eat. If you want to eat, eat. If not, get out. My father's words stunned Daisy Jiang for a long time. She couldn't react. Isolated, with no one left to help her, she sullenly pushed her rice bowl away, looking at me with eyes full of hatred. Daisy Jiang was narrow-minded. Recently, I had been putting more and more pressure on her. Plus, I had managed to persuade Ethan Wang, making him increasingly impatient with her. Daisy Jiang felt abandoned by everyone. I had a feeling she would do something harmful to me, so I needed to be wary of this paper tiger sister. My parents were preparing for a long business trip, leaving just Daisy Jiang and me at home. That night, before I went to bed, Daisy Jiang unexpectedly knocked on my door. She brought a glass of milk and gently said, "Sister, you must be tired, right? Drink this milk and then sleep." I looked at her suspiciously. Daisy Jiang smiled brightly and sat close to me, affectionately saying, "Sister, I was wrong before. I shouldn't have been so disrespectful. It's my fault. Please forgive me, sister. Let's make up. I promise I won't oppose you anymore." Her words were earnest, her eyes red, as if she was truly remorseful, but I wasn't so easily fooled. If I believed she was truly repentant, I'd be utterly foolish beyond saving. This sudden act of wanting to reconcile definitely harbored some ulterior motive. I laughed and said, "My good sister, I'm happy you realized your mistake." Daisy Jiang's eyes lit up. "Really? You really forgive me? Then drink your milk and go to sleep." She carefully placed the glass of milk in front of me. I immediately realized there was something wrong with this milk. My mind quickly raced to find a solution. Seeing that I hadn't drunk it yet, she started to get impatient. "Sister, have you still not forgiven me?" I chuckled dryly. "Of course not. Daisy, go get the cake I bought today. We can eat it together and chat." Daisy Jiang hesitated for a moment, then agreed. "Okay, but remember to drink all your milk, sister." She walked away, constantly looking back to check on me. As soon as she left the room, I quickly opened the window and poured the milk out. Then I poured my old morning milk into the glass. I was careful not to leave any trace. When Daisy Jiang returned, I was finishing my glass of milk. She clenched her fists, trying to suppress a smile, and asked, "Sister, are you sleepy yet?" I looked at her blankly. "Hearing you say that, I suddenly feel a little sleepy." Daisy Jiang suddenly burst out laughing, clutching her stomach. "Not just sleepy, sister. You're about to sleep forever." My face turned pale and I hurriedly asked, "What do you mean by that?" She laughed coldly. "Because you're about to die, you bitch? You keep getting in my way, and even Mom and Dad side with you. What do I have that you don't? Only when you're dead can I breathe easily. Don't worry, I put a lot of sleeping pills in it. You'll die without pain." I pretended to be dizzy, staggered back to the bed, and collapsed, closing my eyes tightly as if unconscious. Just then, the doorbell rang. Daisy Jiang rushed to open the door. Ethan Wang stepped in, looking somewhat bewildered. "You called me here for something?" She threw herself into his arms, feigning pitifulness. Ethan, you finally came. My sister bullied me again. I even thought you were angry with me because I changed my applications and couldn't go to the same school as you." Ethan remained silent and pushed her away. Daisy Jiang was slightly stunned but continued her act. Ethan, you really are angry with me, aren't you? I know my sister has a poisonous mouth and an evil heart. She looks down on you and your grandparents. But it's okay, we can still be together." Ethan frowned. "Oh." Daisy Jiang couldn't hide her excitement. "My sister is in the bedroom. You just need to kill her and we can run away together." Lying on the bed, I felt my blood run cold. "My dear sister, how could she be so ruthless?" Ethan asked in surprise. "Why should I kill your sister?" Daisy Jiang said as if it were obvious. "Because she's stopping us, don't you hate her?" Ethan stared at Daisy Jiang for a moment, then said, "Daisy Jiang, how long do you plan to keep up this act? You always slandered and framed your sister in front of me, but I investigated and found out the truth. She never looked down on me or my family. You chose your college preferences yourself. She never forced you. On the contrary, your sister is very kind and always worried about you. And yet you want her to die? You're even planning to pin all the blame on me?" Daisy Jiang panicked and grabbed Ethan's sleeve. Ethan, what are you talking about? Did she say something to you? Don't believe her. She's an evil person who doesn't want me to have a good life." Ethan disgustedly shook her hand away. "Evil is what you are, Daisy Jiang. You make me sick." Daisy Jiang recoiled a few steps, unable to believe it. Ethan's face was filled with disgust. He glanced towards my room and suddenly sneered. "Mia Jiang, you are truly amazing." Daisy Jiang shrieked like a maniac. Why? Why do you have to compete with me for everything? If you die, everything will be over." She rushed into the kitchen and grabbed a knife. Ethan was horrified and pointed at her, shouting, "What are you doing? Put the knife down." Daisy Jiang's face was distorted with malice, and she sported a twisted smile. "I have to kill this hateful woman." She shrieked, lunging towards me with the knife in her hand. Ethan quickly rushed forward and held her tightly, stopping her. I immediately jumped up from the bed. Seeing that I hadn't fainted, Daisy Jiang became even more enraged. "Damn it, Mia Jiang, you didn't faint. You dared to play games with me." I quickly searched for my phone to call the police. Daisy Jiang suddenly became maniacal. A burst of strength allowed her to break free from Ethan Wang's grasp. She bit his hand hard, making Ethan cry out in pain and release her. Holding the knife, she continued to lunge at me. I dodged nimbly, trying to grasp my phone. Daisy Jiang's eyes were bloodshot. She stubbornly refused to give up, continuously swinging the knife at me. Carelessly, I tripped over a pillow on the floor and fell, my phone flying to the side. I clutched my waist in pain, retreating backward. Daisy Jiang held the knife, her face full of glee. She took step after step towards me, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Die, Mia Jiang," she shrieked, raising the knife and bringing it down towards me. I desperately squeezed my eyes shut. Just at that crucial moment, Ethan Wang lunged forward and grabbed Daisy Jiang's knife-wielding arm. The two struggled in the middle of the living room. During the struggle, the knife in Daisy Jiang's hand slashed into Ethan Wang's stomach. "Ah!" Ethan fell, bleeding, but still managed to say, "You're even willing to kill for this," Daisy Jiang screamed. "You go die too. You abandon me for this bitch." She had completely lost her mind, repeatedly stabbing Ethan Wang 7 times, just as Ethan had stabbed me in the previous life. Ethan lay in a pool of blood, unconscious. The police rushed in along with my parents. Daisy Jiang was immediately apprehended. Ethan Wang was taken to the hospital. After surgery, his life was saved. In this life, he had taken the knife for me, as if atoning for his sins in the previous life. I had no intention of getting further entangled with Ethan Wang. Daisy Jiang was arrested by the police, but I wouldn't let her simply go to prison. I refused to write a waiver, and after a psychological evaluation, she was transferred to a mental hospital. When she heard this verdict, Daisy Jiang completely collapsed. "No, I don't want to go to a mental hospital." She clung to the iron bars, crying and screaming, "Mom, Dad, save me." My parents stood still, their faces calm, without a ripple of emotion. Seeing that my parents didn't care, Daisy Jiang turned to me and cursed, "Mia Jiang, you bitch, you ruined me. I should have killed you a long time ago." The police quickly pulled her away. My parents watched her leave, their eyes filled with complex emotions. But in the end, this outcome was a consequence she brought upon herself. Our family decided to move to another place. The painful memories of being murdered by their own daughter in the previous life were wounds my parents couldn't heal. After being discharged from the hospital, Ethan Wang focused on his studies and work, living peacefully with his grandparents. As for me, I returned to Peking University to continue my studies. 2 years later, I graduated with a master's degree with excellent results and applied for a PhD abroad. Before leaving, I decided to visit the mental hospital to see Daisy Jiang one last time. After a few years, I almost didn't recognize her. Her hair was sparse and patchy with bald spots, her body emaciated in a loose patient gown, her cheeks sunken and hollow like a ravenous ghost. She was tied to the headboard of the bed because she often caused trouble. Seeing me, her eyes lit up. Sister, save me, I can't take it anymore." 2 streams of tears rolled down her face. "Forgive her, raise a tiger only to be harmed again. I have no more lives to gamble with." Daisy Jiang continued to plead. "Sister, I was wrong, I was truly wrong. It's so scary here, everyone is crazy. Sister, get me out." She tried to crawl towards me but was held back by the restraints. I calmly said, "Daisy Jiang, stay here and reflect. I only came to tell you one thing, Mom and Dad have moved. I'm also going abroad soon. From now on, no one will visit you anymore." Daisy Jiang's body trembled violently. She struggled frantically, screaming loudly, "You deliberately want to kill me, you bitch. You ruined me with Mom and Dad, and you destroyed me online." I looked at her coldly. "I ruined you, Daisy Jiang, ask yourself. Was it me who wanted to kill you or you who wanted to kill me?" Her face contorted with rage. "I hate your noble, superior demeanor. What makes you better than me?" Seeing that she was beyond saving, I didn't bother to say more. "You truly don't know when enough is enough. Perhaps you don't know, but you're not Mom and Dad's biological daughter. Years ago, they went to an orphanage for charity and saw you abandoned right after birth, so they adopted you. Mom and Dad adopted you. Think about it. For all these years, we've always treated you as our own daughter. Daisy Jiang, wake up." Daisy Jiang's eyes widened, and she shook her head violently. "Mia Jiang, you're lying, you're tricking me again, aren't you?" I didn't answer, just turned and walked out of the hospital room. Behind me, Daisy Jiang cried and pleaded, then screamed and cursed. She cursed at the doctors and nurses, then mumbled insults and ran back into her room. Her screams gradually faded. I didn't look back. One day, while I was abroad discussing academics with my professor, my parents called. "Hello, Mia, Daisy Jiang is dead." There was a hint of sadness in my father's voice. I paused for a few seconds, then said seriously, "Mom, Dad, now our family can live happily together. We won't have a broken home anymore." Hanging up the phone, I acted as if nothing had happened, continuing my journey of academic exploration. Thousands of mountains have passed. All the pain is now just a memory. Side story, Ethan's perspective asterisk. In my previous life, Daisy Jiang instigated me to kill Mia Jiang. According to Daisy Jiang, her sister was always bullying her and looking down on me and my family. Only when I was awaiting execution did I feel remorse. I had grandparents to take care of. What would happen to them after I died? Afterward, I saw my soul return home. I couldn't believe my eyes when I witnessed Daisy Jiang tormenting my grandparents. "You old fool, why are you sleeping?" Midnight at 12 a.m. is when most people watch live streams. "Get up now." She grabbed my grandfather's thin arm and roughly pulled him up. "Remember this, if you dare to say one more word, I'll kill both of you old lives." Daisy Jiang's tone was full of malice. My grandfather's face showed pain, but when she turned on her phone, Daisy Jiang immediately put on a fake smile. "Hello, beloved fans. Good evening. This is Ethan Wang's grandfather. Even at midnight, he's diligently weaving bamboo baskets for everyone. If you like any design, just comment on the screen. Grandpa will make it according to your wishes." My grandfather's hands were covered in blisters from overwork. Seeing him, my heart ached beyond measure. I screamed and lunged at Daisy Jiang, but I was just a ghost. I couldn't harm her. I was so angry at myself. If I could start over, I would definitely not make the same mistake. I opened my eyes, and the first thing I saw was Mia Jiang, the person I had killed. After interacting with her, I realized she was nothing like what Daisy Jiang had said. I had been deceived by Daisy Jiang. But in this life, I didn't want to get involved in too much trouble. I kept my distance from Daisy Jiang. One day, Daisy Jiang called me to her house. She said she had figured out a way for us to be together forever. I knew she was plotting to harm Mia Jiang. In the previous life, I had killed her. In this life, I wanted to atone for my sins. I rushed to Mia's house. When Daisy Jiang tried to attack, I lunged forward and shielded Mia Jiang, taking 7 knife stabs. Fortunately, I didn't die. I kept my life. In this life, I was determined to be a good person. I studied hard and worked diligently, living peacefully with my grandparents. Although life wasn't rich, I felt more at peace and tranquil than ever before.